In this video, I'm going to show you how I generate leads for less than 4 cents per lead. Right, let me share my screen and we're going to get straight into it. No messing around. So probably about 9 or 10 months ago, I did a video on my channel and I talked about developing multiple apps, the brutally honest truth about developing your own apps. Now, I've actually migrated from being just a iOS and Mac OS developer, and I've really progressed into other languages. So JavaScript, CSS, HTML, which I've known for many years, but specifically JavaScript. So a lot of web-based applications, real complex stuff, but making sure that software architecture is on point and doesn't break. And for many teams specifically who are doing lead generation, and I'm speaking from someone who's done sales from on the phones, in person, all different types of sales. So I understand from a salesperson perspective what things I actually need to have in my systems, right, in my CRMs. So this started off as Brilliant Sales and it evolved to Lydia, and I've taken it from a macOS app all the way to a web-based SaaS platform. Okay, so it's very powerful. So exactly what this is know exactly where your revenue is coming from. A single operating view of pipeline attribution, marketed spend, and sales performance. Real numbers, no guesswork, okay? So this is what you'll see, a little snapshot into what goes on, and very calm price, $79, okay? Very reasonable. So let's get straight into it, and I'm going to show you all the different aspects of Lydia. So this is a deep dive tutorial if you're a salesperson, if you are a sales team, if you are someone who is a one-man band, right? But you want to know what is going on with the leads that you generate. Where's the value? Who's calling, right? Who's keeping on track of leads? What are the updates? Like everything you need to know. No additional stuff, but all the things you need to know about your leads. That is what I've designed with Lydia. It's an intelligent, revenue intelligent CRM, okay? Very different to just a CRM. So I'm going to walk you through everything and you're going to see. So first of all, dashboard. And I'm going to explain why I've designed the things the way I have, because I think that will be useful for you as a salesperson. And there's many people who send me their ads, or I see their ads, should I say. And, you know, people are using spreadsheets and all of this nonsense, which isn't scalable, right? You know, I'm a person who loves design, okay? I love design. From architectural design, software design, music design, film design, audio design, all clothing designs. I just love design and product, okay? So when I build things, I build it not from just a logical perspective, but also from a design perspective, okay? Because things need to be easy on the eye and easy to navigate. So here, you've got your pipeline, okay? You've got your conversation value, commitment, close. These are the 3 metrics that any sales team, sales floor need to know, okay? What is the value of the leads that are currently having conversations? What is actually committed? And what have you closed? Where's the deals coming from, right? Now you've got your inbound. So this is essentially what hasn't actually begun a conversation yet, okay? So different metrics. And then no deals, people who said, no, I'm not interested. And that is the value of those deals, okay? So you got your first dashboard here, shows up. You've got a little snapshot here that's telling you the leads generated this month, contact rate, and total members, okay? And you've got total leads in your total database, pipeline value again, and here's a little snapshot of the quarter. So this is all some test data just to show you, but it'll give you an idea of how powerful this software is because it's designed to show you what's going on with your leads by just updating the lead detail. That's literally it. Once the leads are in here and people are working them, you don't have to check on people to know what's going on. The software will tell you, okay? So you got your revenue growth month on month, close this month, close previous month, close this year. Contact and spend, so your contact rate, how many people are you getting in touch with, okay, as opposed to no answers. You've got your ad spend, any Facebook ads, Meta ads, whatever. And then you've got your CAC, right? Your customer acquisition cost for the month. Then pipeline quality, again, just another snapshot. Conversations, commitments, no deals, average pipeline value, and your ad spend for the year, okay? So this is your dashboard view. Then we go to leads. Now, this is where it really gets juicy. So something I did earlier, I have generated leads, and I generate my leads for less than 4 cents per lead, okay? These are not leads that I've had to run Facebook ads for. These are leads that I leverage AI and RAG. So that is retrieval augmented generation, okay? Now, that might sound like jargon to you. Probably is. But the thing is, retrieval augmented generation means that my AI agent is trained on a specific set of data. So when I want to generate leads, my AI agent trains itself on the leads, did that already, and then I say, go get me leads in this place for this avatar. And it goes away for about 4 minutes, and it finds the leads, it generates them, and then it sends them into my CRM, okay? So I just want to highlight something here. This is no Zapier. I'm not paying for Zapier to do all of this, by the way. Once my agent generates the leads, it knows where to send them via API endpoints, okay? So this is a very complex setup, but very simple at the same time. And I'm going to show you a few bits. So as you see here, we've got the total leads, we've got assigned leads, we've got unassigned leads. That's my fresh batch that I'm going to hit up, okay? And then we've got inbound leads waiting a stage, so they haven't been allocated yet, okay? Here is where you would upload, okay? So you can literally upload your own leads, okay? Now, Lydia's evolving every day, every week. And the more users that we get, the more feedback, the more things people ask for that I can look at and say, okay, is that worth building now, or shall we leave that down the roadmap? But I am open to feedback, okay? So here it tells you how you need to format your leads. So I've found in the past working with clients, people are going to generate leads through Facebook, okay, Meta. And those leads in the form of a form. And then they might want to then generate those leads or move those leads into their CRM, okay, their custom CRM. Excuse me. Then, once the leads get moved from Meta into their CRM, that's where in the past I've seen clients lose a lot of leads through the cracks because they don't know how to track the activity of those leads based on when they was generated. So I took that information. I was like, you know what? I'm going to build something that actually helps me as a creative strategist track those leads specifically, because you don't want to be spending money on ads, tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars, tens of thousands per day some companies spend on ads. But you need to know where the attribution is coming from, okay? You need to know where the conversion events are happening with what lead and where they came from. You need to know everything. You need to know the full story. So that is why I've designed Lydia the way it is. So you'd take your leads and you would upload them via CSV file. Very simple, okay? Now, and I'll show you ways how you can do that or generate your leads inside CRM without doing that, okay? That's one way, right? Now, you can also do manual entry. So this is what the lead detail view looks like. So when you are on calls, this is your interface. Very slick, okay? You'll have all the lead details here. The sales information, source, funnel, etc. You can choose all of that. I've set mine up to suit my needs, okay? Select the product, select the stage, etc. This is the manual way. So most of the time you're not going to do this, but you might have a few leads that you might just pop in there. Okay, so I've showed you how you can manually enter leads. You won't do that often, but in case you want to, you can. Now, we're going to go into, in fact, no, we're going to go back one. And the reason why is because view leads is where everything happens, okay? So you got your unassigned leads. So once the leads come into the system, you'll start to see them here. And you can actually allocate a specific member of your team, which we'll get to, okay? And then once they've been assigned to someone, this is where they will show up, okay? So all your leads start to show up here. You can just added this today. You can actually add a hot lead right there. You can choose between these stages. So if they're in conversation stage, commitment stage, close, whatever, you can filter that way. And you can see all the leads that are assigned to you. Of course, admins have different privileges, so they can see everything, but your sales team or sales members will see the leads that are allocated to them. Okay, so this is a full lead management CRM system, and you'll see how jam-packed of things it is, but without any additional fluff. Okay, so that's your assigned and unassigned leads. Now, once we get into leads, let's just take this one here. Okay, we've got this law firm in Utah. All right, now when I've done sales roles in the past, the thing that is always, I would say, consistent is everybody tends to make a CRM themselves. And when they do that, they start to add in this because they're like, oh, we need to access this and we need to pull that and we need to make sure we can see that. And then before you know, you've got a jamboree of technology that isn't really, doing what it should do. There's too much bloating, okay? And all that does is just create more friction, and it adds more things that you don't need, which doesn't help you get the job done. And a sales CRM is really simple. All you have to do is make sure that the lead management is done correctly, okay? People can see what's going on with the leads that are generated. You need visibility, so all the sales managers, the sales members, everybody can see what's going on without having to ask you, hey, what's going on with that lead? You don't want that, okay? You just want to be able to look, have a quick look and see what's going on. And I'll show you that in the pipeline, all right? Which is the next tab. But I've noticed that I just want to see the information. When I'm jumping on a call, I just want to see the name, the email. I want to be able to click the website really quick, pulls up the website, can have a quick look. And this is all whilst the CRM is still open. Nothing's changed, okay? I can see, all right, the products, AI automation, okay, pipeline value, all set automatically because it's based on the product, all right? Then once I get on the call and I start to have a conversation, I added this thing called discovery. So you can now start to write down, okay, this is a CEO, right? They're interested in golf, hiking, whatever, right? You can start to fill in the information based on what you've extracted from the call. Because next time you call them, you'll be like, hey, Norman, how was that golf trip? You have a good time? Any holes-in-ones, right? You can build up that rapport. So that's what that is for. Because you don't have to, depend on your memory, right? Or rely on your memory, sorry. And then this is probably the big one. So again, from working with clients in the past, I noticed that every sales member has their own shorthand. They have a call and they're like, I spoke to HP and HP is NA. And if anyone else looks at that note, they're like, what is HP? NA, okay, not available. You might be able to detect that. But this shorthand cryptic code, right? Not everybody is going to understand your code, bro. Like, they're just not. So you just need a simple way that is generic all the way through. So what I built is quicknote. If I've spoken to someone, I hit connected, okay? And I write my note. Easy. But the connected is the key piece here, right? The note, okay, yeah, you might write, some descriptive things, but you don't have to shorthand one of these potential variables, right? Which is always going to be the case. It's either going to connect, no answer, call back, voicemail, left, yada, yada, right? You can just pick one of these, right? So then you can do that. And then you literally hit save, all right? Once you save the lead, it's going to update. Nice and easy, okay? Now, where it gets even better, Norman might be a hot lead, so I can mark that as hot, right? Now, when I go back here, I'm like, ooh, go back into my leads. I'm going to call Norman because that was a good lead, okay? Very simple. Now, when I'm on the call, I'm going to have a script most of the time. So I've built in lead scripts, okay? So you can customize and make your own scripts so that once you're on the call, the information's here, you view your script, and you see, it's very transparent. So you can still see the name, you can still see the email if you need that, but literally all you have to do is close and it's still there, right? It doesn't close the whole software or view, it's still there. But this script is great because you can go through it and you can stay on track, right? No paper, no, oh, check my other window. Like everything is nicely contained in this one space, right? So that's great. Then, okay, even better, I figured out, most of the time, client's going to say, yeah, send me an email. All right, cool. What's your email, right? this choose email template, you select whichever email you want. Try calling you, AI automation flow. If they don't reply, whatever, it's going to pull the information from the lead itself. So the email is already being generated. Okay, let's just say I tried calling you. It's going to fetch my email client, and the email is already pre-written. So I don't have to waste time scripting some email. It's already done, right? Already done. And you can choose between the email templates that you've already got set up, because most of the time with sales, it's a lot of repeat stuff. You're selling the same product, the clients are going to say the same thing. So I've taken the liberty of thinking of all of these potential outcomes and all of these instances where I've been on a phone call and it's like, they're always saying send me an email. So I just need to do that as fast as possible so I can move on, right? On to the next call. So you could literally be doing this whilst they're yapping on the other, well, not yapping, they might be saying something, but you could be sending them the email whilst they're on the call and be like, hey, John, yeah, I've already sent you the email. Check your inbox now. So you're getting that confirmation, not after the call and they ghost you and, they go do whatever and they get distracted, family, work, dog, cars, whatever. You're getting that confirmation lickety split, fast. That's what we want in sales. So you got scripts, you can mark your lead hot, you can send the email, okay? Delete will only be available to admin, of course. So that is your lead view, right? And that's your lead detail view. So that's where a lot of the magic happens. Then pipeline. So the whole team will see this. And again, I guess modeled this based on previous, endeavors, previous situations where I've worked with clients. And, using whiteboards, that's not really, 2026 type vibes, is it? Right? You want automation. I don't want to have to be checking, hey, what's going on with your pipeline of deals? I don't want to have to do that. I just want to be able to see, that's how, as a sales manager, let's say, I want to know how much is in my conversations, who's committed, who's closed. That's what I want to know. Then I want to know, of the people that I've given leads to and distributed leads to, what's going on with them, right? Who's in commitment, who's in close, whatever. What stage are these leads at? And you can see here it's got all the information ready to literally tell you what's going on with these leads. The funnels, which funnel is working correctly, right? That's another data point that you want to know, because that feeds back to your marketing team. So it's not necessarily you have to do all your marketing from Lydia. That's where we use FirstParty for that, which I'll do in another video. But Lydia is specifically for sales, revenue intelligence, pipeline intelligence, team sales intelligence, right? And metrics, the metrics that are determining if what your marketing team is doing is reflecting in the conversions in the sales. So these are like department tools, okay? That's probably the best way. And I'm probably going to change the messaging because it probably makes sense to do it like that. These are department tools, okay? So this would be your sales department tool. Got it. Right. You're smart. Let's keep moving. So that is your pipeline. And again, you can see the month, obviously the year, just snapshots of all the things. Not bombard you, not overwhelm you, but just tell you what you need to know. Then we don't use whiteboards. We have an automated leaderboard. So based on the leads that have been allocated, based on the activity of the individual member, this will tell you who is the top of the leaderboard based on their activity. It's that simple. It will tell you their contact rate. You don't have to ask them, how good are the leads? This is what I've seen in the past. How many people you speaking to? That's a silly question, bro. Like, just use Lydia. It will tell you what the contact rate is for that individual. As granular as that, it will tell you that individual's contact rate is X percentage. And I'll show you in reports how you're going to start reporting that information month by month so you can track all of these KPIs and there's no guesswork, right? This is a very transparent tool which allows you to see what's actually happening with the leads that you've generated, okay? So this is probably, I'm just going to throw it out there. It's the best sales pipeline tool on the market. I'm sorry. The other guys who've built stuff, okay, yeah, yada, yada, you've got a bunch of users, but, don't worry, man. Lydia's coming up. Santino Brillant, we are coming up also, and we've got some intelligent tools, things that you guys haven't thought of, okay? So that is your leaderboard. You don't have to ask no one. It automatically updates based on the data. Now, this is reports now, okay? So let's go back to March. Just doing some tweaks on this earlier, just tightening it up. But as you can see here, in March, the historical performance snapshot. So when you're having your CEO, C-suite, COO, big wig meetings, and you're like, Larry, the CFO, is like, I want to see what's going on with the metrics this month, right? We don't have to start printing off Excel sheets and all of this nonsense. Like, I'm just going to keep it 100% real with you. I don't like Excel. And I know that sounds crazy, but you know what my Excel is? Code. Because I can just code and get better visuals than Excel. I don't have to do all of these lines. I don't want to have to look at lines. I'm a creative, right? So visuals matter to me, okay? They matter to me, right? So I don't want to look at Excel spreadsheets. That's not good for me or my eyes. But this, when I see big numbers, I'm like, oh, this is easy to read. No line by Larry, we're not doing that. Okay. Larry, the CFO, we're not doing that. So you can see 47.5% contact rate, connected versus no answers, ad spend. And this is a combination of ad spend, API tokens, all of that, right? $128. My CAC was $2, customer acquisition cost, not bad. 30 no deals, top performer, that's me. And yeah, conversations, $320,000 of conversations, yada, 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 right? Top lead sources, another valid metric that's coming in from website, which is actually my agent getting me these leads for less than 4 cents. So if you actually want to do that in your business, book a demo call, click the link in the description, book a call with me. I'll show you exactly how I do it. And if you want that in your business, that's great. But if you want to keep spending like, tens of thousands of dollars a month on ads, then that's also cool. But if you want 3 cents per lead, then yeah. Real companies, by the way. But anywho, top of funnel, right? You could see Lydia cold outreach. Lydia is Lydia the software and my agent, okay? And it basically just gives you a snapshot of all these key metrics that Larry the CFO and anyone else like that want to know, okay? Tells you all the things in your report. So that's a new thing. And I'm going to add something probably after this video. It'll take me a few minutes where you can export that to a CSV file, bro. Larry the CFO, if you really want that Excel file, then we can export that. That's not a problem. But for us digital first native people, we just want to look it on screen. I don't want to have my MacBook filled with Excel spreadsheets, but each to their own. Next, we've got products. So products is necessary because it starts to determine the value of the leads, okay? So, of course, you can put in product name, price, currency, is the active, inactive, and a description about the product, okay? And that's important because in the lead itself, you see here product, right? I didn't have to add that. And my agent didn't have to add that manually, just type the product. No, it knows what we're getting leads for, and the agent already selected and pre-populated all of this. So my agent is doing all of this legwork, okay? Not only is my agent, is she getting the lead, she's also giving the sales team the information they need to go and close them. Because we're not going to do AI robot closer guy or AI automatic dialer. Some things just need a human touch, guys, right? So if you're good on the phones, then just be good on the phones. But if you're not good on the phones, then that's why you have to use AI to make your calls. But I'm not going to do that. And I wouldn't advise my clients to do that either. Okay? So that's where product information goes. You create your product and it's here on the side. Nice. Okay? Scripts is the next tab. Now, these ones specifically, these remaining tabs is what your admin will see, of course. Your sales team will just see everything up to what they need to see. Leaderboard, pipeline, leads, dashboard. Reports, they don't need to see that. That's more, top C-suite level information, and that's what that is. But here is where you actually create your script. So I can view a script that I've written previously, okay? Can map it out, soft close, presentation. So all the things that any sales team does is just essentially automated, okay? So you don't have to worry about anything here. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's pretty sweet. Save the script, happy days, and we're good, right? So that's scripts. I've only got one script, that's why it's showing one. All right. Now, billing is pretty straightforward. I don't have to teach you how to suck eggs doing that. But admin, this is where it gets even more granular, okay? So one thing that I found, a little bit of story time for you. When I built the macOS version, there were some limitations with Swift UI because it's the Apple system. And I love Apple, by the way, shout out to Apple. But there were some limitations in things that I wanted to do. So as I moved to a more SaaS model and web-based platform, okay, I was like, all right, I know people need access to different teams or want different team access. So right now with a $79 a month plan for Lydia, which is only an interim price, it will change and go up. However, you can have as many sales team members as you like. If you've got 25 people on your sales team, 50 people, doesn't matter. You can add them. And it adds them in a very, very secure way. So essentially, you put in their email, you put in the role as a salesperson, as an admin, and then you create invite. And when you create invite, what it's going to do is generate a link, okay? And this is a secure link that you then email to your team member. They click that link, and then they will get access to what I call a workspace. So rather than them, obviously they're not going to buy their own subscription, right? Because they're accessing your team's data. So your whole team's data is in this one workspace, right? So your team, workspace, team members. Then they're going to get the link. It's going to prompt them to say, hey, do you want to create an account or join this team? They're going to say join this team, and then they're going to be added here, okay? They're going to be added here. So that's a nice secure way to actually do that. Then you've got traffic sources. So of course, this is where your marketing team will be feeding you this information because that's their job, okay? Marketing department. So your email list, which these are all pre-populated. I'm not going to go through all of them because I don't want to read them all, but these are your seed defaults, okay? So you can just pop them in and then you can edit the ones that you want, or you can add your own traffic sources. But for the most part, you're probably going to have 1 or 2, 3, 4, if not all of them, all right? And that's where you do that. And that again feeds back, let me just show you, to a lead, which you will see here, source, okay? So that's where that feeds into. And it's important because as we're wanting to track our data, it's important to know where the information and where the lead has come from, okay? Then we've got funnel. So again, you've got your different funnels here. Marketing department will say, hey, these are the funnels that we're running. When they have their big wig CEO, C-suite meetings, they'll be like, all right, these are the new funnels. This is what we're trying. And this is where the leads will be coming from. So no one has to figure this out. And I've found this before where people are like, oh, what funnel is that? You just don't want the sales team like asking questions that one, they don't need to know. And two, is irrelevant, right? All you have to do, bro, is call the lead and get a deal. If you ain't got a deal, get one. It's that simple. So the funnel is just really a metric to track. That's all that is. But it's important in terms of data reporting, okay? Then you got email templates. So as I said, you can create your own. And this will save you so much time because when people are saying, sales managers like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just sending this email. That is so Stone Age, bro. You don't need to do that. You already know you're going to send them an email. 9 times out of 10, you're going to send the client an email. So just write the email first and tweak maybe a sentence or 2 or 5 words. That's going to save you way more time to get back on the phones. That's what you're getting paid to do. Close deals, bro. You don't want to be sending emails. So you create your own templates. They're already pre-populated. And then as I showed you before, if you've forgotten, let me show you again. You go to leads, you click the lead, you click send email, and then you choose which template. And you choose a template, it's going to bring up your mail client, and you can just send the email. Fill in the information, tweak a few things, and send it. Because there might be some personal things that you might want to add to the template, but at least the template is really just saving you so much time, okay? So that's that. Email templates. Ad spend. Now, again, this is more for admin. big wigs sit down. Larry's like, what is our ad spend for the month? And you're going to sell Larry, relax, Larry. We don't spend on ads. We just use tokens. And it didn't cost us that much. So rather than spending $10,000, I'm spending like $200. Okay. That's a good return. So this is where you keep track of what you're actually spending on the different platforms, right? Different ones. You want to be able to track this. This is super duper important. And these are the main ones, right? So there's no need to add anything else. And I think, to be honest, as we go forward, API, AI costs or token costs, that is going to be another line item for Larry, the CFO, to really, lose his hair about, okay? Because you want to know how much are we spending on tokens with Anthropic, OpenAI, OpenClaw, all these guys, right? Gemini, how much are we spending with these guys? And then people are going to start to compare, Facebook ads versus API costs, right? Or token costs. So that's where you keep track of that. And again, just so you know, the ad spend starts to show up here in this metric on your dashboard. So we go back and we're up to plugins now. So now we're getting more technical. So this is a cool feature that I built in, embedded lead forms. So you will have a website, no doubt. You'll have a funnel, no doubt, landing page, whatever. And you got social media with multiple links. Or you might just use FirstParty, and that is your main funnel engine, which I definitely would advise because it's better than anything else on the market. Okay, so you've got two options. One, you can use some embedded code, and your tech guy can put that bit of code and it will look like this, right? When someone clicks it. So whether that's embedded on your website or a separate URL, this is what it will look like. But the beautiful thing about this is once they fill it in, you know where it goes? Right back into your leads. So anybody that fills out a lead from that form or that form, it will go to unassigned leads right into your own database. So you don't have to then worry about, oh, where's this lead come from? No, it's just automatic. So, and you can put that anywhere. Okay. Now because I told you before, I am a design guy, right? I have to make sure that this looks good and is customizable, because from a brand perspective, which I talk about on the first party side of things, your brand is your brand. You want your colors, you want your name. So I'm going to make sure that that form, you can, change the logo, change this, and maybe change your color scheme, right? So it's a bit more customized and it makes sense, right? Because it's your brand at the end of the day, right? Of course, I would love you to promote Lydia, but you are not paying to promote me. You're paying to get leads, right? So yeah, I'll do that. But as I said, if you're using socials, this could be a URL link, very easy. Click the link, fill in the lead, done. Embedded code, if you want to get more technical, put that on your website, whatever, right? Anywhere where you can add in HTML, you can do that. But unlike others, I've given you the option. I'm not forcing you to be a tech guy and design guy and, bombard Dave, the tech bro, right, in your team to, hey, Dave, can you embed this code? You don't have to do that. Just use the URL if you want. And that will go to your workspace, and then you get leads automatic, right? Put that wherever and they'll come in. Now you've got currency, so depending on where you are in the world, you might be in the UK, you might be in the US, you might be in Europe, Australia, Canada, right? You can choose your currency, okay? Pretty easy. Change the currency, it will change on everything here. So let's just see. Let's save to pounds. And you can see it's changed to pounds. Love it when my software does not break on camera. Love that. And it shouldn't break because it's good. In fact, it's not good, it's great. Anyway, that's enough of that. As you can see, it's changed back. Lovely. Now, we are still on plugin, so we've done currency, billing. You don't need to see that. Security is just emails, yada, yada, password reset. Easy stuff. But my friends, this is Lydia. Now, I've given you a glossed over version. If I was talking to a client, I would probably go in depth about the use cases for that specific business, because what I've found from my recovery of being a consultant is that every business is different, okay? Every business has different problems, different bottlenecks, different ways of doing things. And I've designed this based on a real case study, okay? And I've designed it in a way, again, as a salesperson, previous salesperson, and someone who knows design, functionality, software, etc. So I've designed it to meet the needs of all parties involved. So I've tried to make things as simple as possible, as smooth as possible, as transparent as possible, to make your life easier so you can just make more money, okay? Because that's what a sales team wants to do. That's their job, is to bring in the money, okay? But the beautiful thing about Lydia is that there's no more guesswork, right? And of course, yes, there are many tools out there, but my tool specifically is smart. It's designed to do all of the heavy lifting, all the calculations, all those lovely spreadsheets Larry, the CFO, wants to do. You don't need Larry anymore, right? You might need Larry to translate, "We've spent too much money." Well, maybe not, Larry, if marketing is doing the right job, right? Maybe if, you know what I mean? I'm not going to go into bashing Larry, but you get the drift. Lydia would tell you what the status is with your leads. And because of that, it's going to take the burden off of you as a CEO, as a COO, a sales floor manager, operator, whatever it is you do and what you're in charge of. You no longer have to think, to be honest. You've got your reports, you can go back, go to April, keep it moving, right? It's going to refresh and it's seeing 25 leads, fresh leads in the database. Cost me less than 3 cents, 4 cents per lead. Love that, right? And I'll do that in another video. However, Lydia is the future for sales CRMs and teams who want intelligence and don't want all of this extra stuff that you're paying money for that you don't use, okay? Now, some feedback that some people have told me is like, hey, I would like to use email. But I would say to you this is not an email sequencing tool. You don't need email in this software. The reason why is because the email function is for marketing. That's not for sales, okay? I showed you the only email a salesperson needs to do whilst they're on the phone or off the phone is to send a follow-up email to the lead. That's it. You don't now need to put in email sequencing into this, because if you structure your marketing the right way, lead forms, right? FirstParty to manage your brand overall, that's collecting your subscriber list, your email list, newsletters are going out. There's different tools for different use cases. And it's better to have the tool just do one thing really good. And in this case with Lydia, it is revenue intelligence. It's going to tell you and your whole team who's working the leads, who's top of the leaderboard, how much are these leads worth, what's the status of the leads from last month, who's closing, who's not closing, where are leads coming from, which marketing funnel works. It's telling you all of that without bombarding you. So if you like what I've shown you in this video and you want to learn more about how this business can help you pretty much get a better handle of your revenue intelligence in your company, click the link in the description, book a demo call, and I'll walk you through this, and I'll show you some of the other softwares that might be useful to you, like FirstParty. But if you do want to have a call with me, just book a demo call, answer a few, there's like 4 questions, and we can sit and have a chat, and hopefully I can help you, okay? But hope you liked this video. Hopefully it was useful. If it was, drop a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.